And there we have it. The Acolyte Episode 8 has brought about the end of a series that can now be considered more divisive and damaging than The Last Jedi. We started with Poe making mum jokes in TLJ, and now we have Mae in the Acolyte finale saying to Sol, "See you in hell, Jedi." The official announcement of the show back in May 2020 had fans eager to see a time in the galaxy thriving with Jedi at the height of their power. Alongside this, fans eagerly speculated at the chance to finally explore the Sith underworld, deeper than ever before in live action. Before we dive into the big debate surrounding whether a second season should happen, and without any hyperbolic, rage-persuading opinions, let's first start with the positives from Episode 8. Pacing across the series has been a major issue. In total, pacing felt entirely absent if truth be told, with events meandering from one to the next without any sense of urgency or high stakes. The finale, however, had some urgency in the tank. The episode dealt with the high stakes well, although a total lack of empathy and interest for both the story and characters made this pacing sadly redundant. In short, the story almost came to life, and I'll give the makers credit for that. I finally felt the pulse of the story. Now, on to the second positive. As mentioned up top, fans eagerly anticipated the possibility of exploring the Sith underworld. The appearance of Darth Plagueis in the finale gave us that chance. Now, did it live up to the hype? Sadly, no. Not in our collective wildest dreams did I ever think the appearance of Plagueis would feel so anticlimactic, unwarranted, and unnecessary. As soon as he arrived, he once again disappeared, never to appear on screen again. This is Darth Plagueis. If you're going to use him, use him. To punctuate the appearance of a character like Plagueis, he really should have been at the very end of the episode, instead of Yoda. More on Yoda later. Perhaps it's the mere fact Plagueis appeared in a show that has, in my opinion, failed on just about every level of production and execution that made me feel appalled by his appearance. It may also be the fact his appearance in the episode, and now later clarified on Wikipedia, explains that Plagueis is keeping an eye on the stranger. Mostly, however, he's lurking around the twins to likely discover how Osha and Mae were created by the witches, using the thread and the Vergence on Brendok. Is that right? I'm still unsure how this happened. Perhaps Plagueis is just as confused as I am. Nonetheless, Plagueis appearing is a major win. How, why, when and where Plagueis arrived, well, that leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. Another positive worth highlighting in the episode was when Sol's Kyber crystal became entangled with Osha's rage and turned red. Visually, I thought that was pretty cool. One piece of dialogue that landed well for me was when Sol, seeing the Jedi arriving on Brendok from above, said to Qimir,
"Now you pay for what you've done."
And Qimir replied,
"Oh, they're not here for me."
For the first time in the season, a character had real insight into what was really happening. The line landed so well and simultaneously stood out. Looking at further positives in the finale, and not to sound too disillusioned, but I think we're all wrapped up on that one. The pacing gets 2 thumbs up from me, as does Plagueis appearing in live action, although I'm still appalled it's within the ever disappointing Acolyte. Now, moving on to the major talking points within the finale and the big question, should there be a second season? The show limped its way to episode 8. Character motivations switching or made entirely unclear demanded too much from the audience to exert any type of empathy or care in the final outcome. So starting at the beginning, using Qimir's helmet, the episode starts with Osha connecting with Mae through the Force, I think. Osha, dressed in black, similar to Luke in Return of the Jedi, discovers Mae, who is dressed like Luke in Empire Strikes Back, is heading to Brendok with Sol in tow. The wardrobe choices here depict the opposing positions of Mae and Osha, with both characters now switching places in the story, and Osha leaning more to the dark side. Like a child, Qimir suggests they race to where Mae is heading. Did anyone else catch this? Everyone starts heading to Brendok, where our story was birthed, and the characters' stories will finally converge. When we arrive on Brendok, a second battle ensues between Qimir and Sol. Mae and Osha discuss the past. We explore their differing points of view. Why Osha chose to leave the Jedi because of her darkness is discussed, as is Sol's part to play in everything. Eventually, everyone meets outside in the courtyard, and Osha finally discovers that Sol, within his rights, defended himself by killing a terrifying, morphing and unpredictable Mother Anastasia. Osha discovers Sol unjustifiably killed her mother. Osha flips, turns the Kyber crystal red, and kills Sol. All the while, Qimir, a self-proclaimed Sith, just stands there for all of 5 minutes. In amongst all this, Venestra arrives on Brendok and senses Qimir through the Force, and there we have it confirmed they were once master and pupil. Qimir and Osha leave. Mae ends up being arrested by the Jedi, and Sol takes blame for everything. Beat by beat, exactly as expected, as underwhelming as predicted, and as far as the season goes, just as soulless as anticipated. Now let's discuss Yoda's appearance. In the final sequence, Venestra heads to Yoda to tell all. Her lies have convinced most, but stood before the most powerful, Force-sensitive and lauded Jedi, the lies surely stop, right? Nope, they continue off screen. Venestra continues to lie, and Yoda believes her. Now that's the best estimation I have with regards to how the events unfolded off screen. Otherwise, Yoda in the prequels would have a very different response to Qui-Gon on Coruscant when they discuss the appearance of a Sith. Now, did Yoda need to appear? Absolutely not. More importantly than this, however, is Yoda believing the lies and somehow not sensing any of the events that unfolded during Season 1. In Revenge of the Sith, whilst on Kashyyyk, Yoda from across the galaxy senses Anakin turning to the dark side, Order 66 unfolding, and thousands of Jedi being wiped out. But in The Acolyte, Yoda didn't sense any of the events that took place, and the dark side trickling through the Force when Qimir appeared. And now he can't see through the lies of a subordinate Jedi standing right before him? I'm lost for words. It doesn't work and it doesn't add up. Yoda simply would have sensed the events that unfolded and the lie being presented to him. In multiple ways does this affect the character of Yoda and the events of the prequels. As Star Wars Theory summarised perfectly during his live stream when he said, "It's like taking the fruit from the bowl, giving it a good old fashioned lick and putting it straight back." So the big question, should a second season happen? Considering the quality of Season 1, it's a major no from me, and that's a huge shame. I wanted to love this show. And when you consider Darth Plagueis' introduction and the potential this had, it's difficult to accept the fate of this show. If I was ever asked previously if there should be more Star Wars on the horizon, the answer would always be an emphatic yes. Do I think a second season will happen? Without a doubt, yes, 100%. The volume of unanswered questions leaves many avenues for another story to sadly limp through. Questions such as, why was Mae freely given to the Jedi? The majority of the audience empathised with Sol, killing a demon-looking Mother Anastasia. So why did Osha switch on a dime to the dark side? Does Qimir know Plagueis? And finally, did Yoda really believe the lies of Venestra? I am truly exhausted by this show. Episode by episode, story, production, character and execution sunk to unthinkable levels. Now, if you enjoyed the show, never let anyone take that away from you. Variety is the spice cream of life. Would you like to see a second season of The Acolyte? And which stories would you like to be explored further? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more adventures. Still undecided? There's plenty more to enjoy on the channel. May the Force be with you.